Well, it's almost Thanksgiving out here at our journey, and if you're going to talk conservation, we're going to talk turkeys. We see turkey out here every year, fortunately, but in 1930 things weren't looking so good. They had almost went extinct due to loss of habitation and overhunting, and in fact, if it wasn't for the government stepping in with a large-scale breed and release program, we wouldn't have the birds today. They're not in any specific danger at the moment, but if you do want to help turkey and you want to bring some to your property, there are a couple things you can do. Come with me and we'll show you. Now, if you want to attract turkeys to your area, rule number one is habitat. You're looking for something like this. You've got a nice hardwood tree line and you've got some open field. Now, the reason this is important is turkeys sleep in the trees. They've got to be able to get off the ground at night. And the other thing is when they're on the ground, they have to be able to escape predators. They need room to run and room to take off. Without these two things, they can't escape. Now, the other thing you're looking for is tall grass. Preferably about 2-3 years of growth, about 2 to 3 feet high. And this is where they're going to be in the spring and the fall. Now, here's how this works. In the spring, they're going to come in here and they're going to find a nice quiet spot up against a tree or under a bush where they can see, and they're going to lay their eggs. Now, for the first month, the chicks are going to be in here in the grass entirely. They're going to feed on bugs and grubs. They need protein. Now, the adults, they need their fruits and veggies. So they're going to wander back and forth between these two areas, and they're going to find the young sprouts, and they're going to dig up the tubers, and they're going to get to the berries. Now, in the fall, the field's going to be gone. So they're going to come back in here into the hardwoods and the tall grass, and this is where they're going to sit out the winter. Now, here on our farm, we don't have to change anything. But if you're looking to attract turkeys to your land, what you need to do is you need to look around in your area, find out what you have and what you need. If you don't have tall grass, let some grass grow for a couple years. If you don't have any open field, do some mowing. Tend to your hardwoods. They need nice mature hardwoods to sleep in. Now, habitat is 9/10 of the ball game. But if you really want to do more, there's one other thing we can talk about. Now, the other thing you can help them out with is food and water. Turkeys are fairly self-reliant. There's not going to be a whole lot you have to do there. But in my experience, if you want to help out wildlife, you wait for the hard times. That's the droughts and the long freezes. Remember, to wildlife, a long hard freeze is just as bad as a drought. If there's no liquid water, there's no water. Maybe come out and break up the ponds, break up the ice in the streams. Maybe throw out some frozen berries or some earthworms, something with moisture in it that they could absorb. Now, as far as where to feed them, you need to find the areas that you think the turkeys might be hanging out in. Something similar to this. You notice you've got the tall grass, you've got some trees, and you've got some bushes. Now, these are areas that are going to break up the wind, and it's going to break up the snow, and it's going to be a nice and cozy place for them to ride out the winter. As far as what to feed them, you need to look around and see what they're already eating. Out here, we've got wild cherries and blackberries we can throw in the freezer. We've got our hickory nut shells that maybe we couldn't get everything out of. Throw in some oats and maybe some wheat seed. Maybe pick out some of the old earthworms from your earthworm farm. Throw them in a couple bags. Throw them in the freezer. Wait for the hard frost and come out here a couple times a year. Pick a couple areas similar to this. Spread your food around. Now, you've got no guarantee it's going to be the turkeys that find it. Maybe it's another type of fowl, maybe it's deer, but if you wait for the hard winter, most of the mammals are going to be up and your food won't get stolen. Remember, the turkeys may only find it once, twice, 3 times, tops. But to wildlife, an unexpected meal in the dead of the winter, it can make all the difference. Maybe a hen or two lives through that wouldn't have made it before. Well, that's another hen that's going to be there to lay eggs in the spring. Conservation's a numbers game. You're just trying to generally make the land more appealing to the birds. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're truly thankful for your bird, this is something you can do, and maybe eventually the bird will be thankful for you. Well, we don't want to take up a lot of your time. Thanks for watching our video. Have a happy Thanksgiving from our journey.